record episode number 7, Independent Artist. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Independent Artist. So last week, I left off 2001. 9/11 just happened. I was in New York the whole weekend before, filling out applications, trying to get a job there, just to be closer to the city to pursue the acting career. And, after 9/11, that dream did not happen. After that tragedy, one of the biggest in our country's history. So what am I going to do now? I just, continued doing some extra work and doing some theater. But I made up my mind. I really wanted to do my own short film. I wanted just to put something together, just to see if I can do it. So what I did, I had this idea called Dreaming of Julia. It's from stories that people, that you hear from other people. And the guy I knew a guy that owned a restaurant on the east side. I think it was called Guido's. And the guy that owned it had a friend that was dating Julia Roberts. Maybe, at the time, I don't know if it was at the time or maybe a couple of years before, but she came to Providence and went to the restaurant. So in my head, I just came up with this idea of a guy who really loved Julia Roberts. He wrote a script for her, and he finds out she's in town, in Providence. So he's going to go hunt her down to give her the script. And that was it. That was basically the idea. It wasn't even like a real script. I wasn't really writing screenplays at the time. I just had like an outline of a story idea, scene by scene. And I was going to improv it. And I got a couple of my friends to play other roles. Like Michelle, she played like the ex-girlfriend. And my friend Paul played like the bodyguard of Julia Roberts. And my friend Maciek, the priest in Poland, he played Julia Roberts' agent who pays my character a visit to beat me up. It's sort of like cheesy. But I did it because I just wanted to have that experience. I had this cheap Sony camera. I had no lighting. I had no sound, just the sound of the camera. And I just filmed these scenes. And my nephew Frankie, who was a little kid at the time, would help me when he could. And when he couldn't, I just had the camera set up on a tripod. And I just put this whole story idea together. It came out, and believe me, it's horrible. It's horrible. But I did it for the experience, the practice, and just to figure out how to get a story out of my head, onto paper, and onto screen. You have to start somewhere, right? And so that's what I did. But I had no idea how I was going to edit this thing, and I was looking for someone to edit it, put it together for me. And I remember, I don't know where I met her, maybe on a movie set or something. I met this actress, and her name slips me. It's been so long. We're talking 2001 now. And she knew a guy who was an editor, did some editing, and she had like a reel that she wanted to put together of acting scenes. And she said he was pretty good. So she gave me his number. His name's Greg Hall. And I call him up. As I'm filming the Dreaming of Julia, I talked to him for like a period of weeks over the phone, or what I was doing, and he said he'll help me and edit the film, put it together for me. So I finished the project, as they would say, knowing that I was going to have somebody edit with me. And once I was done, I went up to he lived up in Portsmouth. I went up there. Met him finally after months, like maybe 2 months of speaking on the phone with him. And I showed them the footage and kind of what the scenes I wanted, and how it went, the story. Maybe it was like maybe a 15-minute, maybe 20-minute short film. And then I left him. I didn't know anything about editing. I just, here you go. You take it, work your magic. And you put, I gave him some songs that I wanted in for certain scenes. And I'm Italian again here. I'm talking my hands. I'm banging the mic. And so I have to sit on my hands, I think, when I do this podcast, so my hands don't wave around. But so I left, and then maybe a month or two went by, and he was all done. I went up and checked it out, and it was like great. I loved it at the time. I loved it. It's exactly what I was envisioning in my head, and it was just a cool moment because I finally did something. I wasn't just talking about something. I finally did it. And like I said, it was cheesy. The songs were popular songs. I didn't get no permission to use them, so it's like I couldn't do anything with the thing. But it was just like an experiment to see how it is to put a movie together. But the best thing that happened out of this, the best thing happened was meeting Greg Hall. We met, we became friends, and right after that, I was like, hey, you want to do something? You want to work on something together? Because Greg had cameras, he had lighting, he had actual sound, he had all the equipment. He did a couple of own little projects. He was doing weddings, so he had the stuff. And so I was like, yeah, let's do something, man. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So I started working on another script. But that's the thing, in this business, it's definitely talent. You gotta have the talent. You gotta have the experience. You gotta be thick-skinned in this business. Really thick-skinned. You cannot be sensitive at all. And patient. That's one thing you learn over the years. You have to be patient. But number one thing out of all those, I believe, is networking. And that's what I learned. That's what I learned from the very beginning. I learned right from meeting that actress. She introduced me to Greg, and that's how the networking started. Every project you do, from one set to another, one theater project, video project, whatever you're doing, you just meet people. You find people you can click with, people that have the same interests as you, and that you just start networking. And if it goes right, and you treat each other right, and you both enjoy working with each other, that person's going to tell another person about you. And that's how it begins. And that's how it began for me. And not long after that, like I said, I wrote this other short. And the short film I wrote, and this was like, I call this one my real short film, my first short film. Because the Julia was like just kind of an experiment thing. I wrote this short film called Vincent Vellucci's Story. And now, that is based off a monologue I wrote, I think maybe back in my college years. And then once I was auditioning out of college, I kind of rewrote it to use on auditions for projects. And it's basically about this guy who just gets out of jail, wants to start his life over. In the monologue, I think he gets a job at Starbucks. And he's in Starbucks, and something happens. He has an altercation with a customer, ends up throwing her out. And come to find out, the woman he threw out was the mother of a girl that he just started dating, his new girlfriend. And he was going to go meet the parents of his new girlfriend. When he walks in the house, it's the mother. It's the woman that he threw out from the Starbucks. And she gets pissed off and throws him out of the house and doesn't want her daughter seeing this guy anymore. So that's basically the monologue. And then I said, I'm going to make a short film out of this. And I couldn't use Starbucks, so I changed the character. I changed the occupation, and I named him Vincent Vellucci. The Italian guy gets out of jail. He was like a car thief or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, he stole cars. And in prison, he learned how to cut hair. So, and he gets out. He gets a job at a beauty salon, to cut hair. And a woman comes in, gives him a hard time. He kicks her out. And then there's like the montage of him with his new girlfriend, and he's gonna finally go meet the parents. And he walks in, and the woman he threw out from the salon is the mother. So I just changed the occupation, but it was the same kind of premise. And that was maybe like I think like a 12 to 15 minute short film. And so Greg helped me out with that. He filmed the whole thing. He had the sound. We had different people holding the boom, and we had a great time. It was a great experience. It was so much fun, and like I said, the experience, just to see how everything works and get that script alive, and you do these scenes. And that was a different script I actually wrote out. I had the dialogue. I knew what I was doing this time, and much better than Dreaming of Julia. Like 10 times better. 10 times better the experience. 10 times better the story. Everything. And we just really had a blast. And and Greg brought it back to his little studio at home and did the editing. And I think I showed it at the time. AS220 was showing some short films. There was a few things going on, and we brought it to a few places, and we got really good response from it. We really did. And like I said, it was way better than the Julia movie. Forget, I don't even show it to anybody. I have it somewhere, a copy of it buried under 20,000 boxes. I don't even want that thing to see the light of day. I mean, when I did it that first time, it was great to do, but I would never ever show that film to anyone. It would be embarrassing. But and working with Greg was great. We blended really well together, and we did a couple more other projects together over the years, and a few years after that we did Bread, Butter, and Bullets, and I'll definitely get to that in future episodes. But yeah, that's the thing. You just you're just gonna go for it. Just go for it. If you're thinking about writing that book, or making that short film, or anything, painting that painting, anything, you just go for it. Just don't think about it anymore, and go for it. The first one is gonna suck, most likely, right? But you know what? You do another one, and then you do another one, and that's the only way you're gonna get better and better at something. But basically, I guess this episode is about my first short and the fun we had. But it's about experience, and it's about networking. You really gotta get out there and meet people that you connect with, and then they tell somebody about you, and then that person, and one job, one project can lead to another. And that's how you do it. Sometimes it may take time, but that's where the patience comes in. You audition for things, you don't get them right away. You may do 10 auditions before you even get something. And that's where patience comes in, right? And you gotta have that thick skin. Because like my acting teacher said, you're gonna hear no more than yes in this business. And if you do want to see Vincent Vellucci, you go to my YouTube page. I believe it's on there. I haven't seen it in years. And now looking at it now, Vincent Vellucci, to me, is cheesy. I don't know. It was my first shot. I mean, I've done a lot better since. But I leave it up there because you want to show people where you began. How it started for you. And then when they see your stuff that's more recent, they're like, all right, he's grown as an artist. That's what that's why I left that one there. I would never put Dreaming of Julia up. That I would burn that and never look at it again. So, thanks for listening to this episode. Get out there and do things, man. That's the only way you're gonna get experience. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you next week. Take care. God bless. Ciao. Ciao, YouTube.